Welcome, Dr. Tracy Rush, Healing Hands Chiropractic and Functional Medicine. Thank you for being here this afternoon. And before I start any class, I do like to pray to bring the presence of God into this place. So thank you, Heavenly Father. We want to thank you for being here, for helping us to heal our bodies, to giving us wisdom. We thank you that we have ears to hear and eyes to see. We praise you for how you're working through me, and may it be all of you and none of me. And may your words come out in Jesus' name. Amen. So, better results faster. Who does not want better results faster? I want better results faster, right? So we all do. Our bodies don't necessarily work that way, but before I begin, I want to talk to you about your packet that you have in your lap. And Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind. And what that means is I want to start with your evaluation sheet. So as I go through the class, you're going to start thinking of people who should be in this class today. Your spouses, your friends, people that need to hear this information. So I want you to be thinking about those people as you go through class, and you're going to write those people down. I want your overall thoughts, what you have learned. I want suggestions on classes, workshops that we do within the office. Any organizations you are involved with, I want to know about, because they're always probably looking for guest speakers. Love to speak out in public. So then, back here instructions you should have in there. This I'm not going to go over. This you're going to read on your own, your back hair instructions. These are the things you should and should not be doing. You have exercises in your packet. Those exercises hold onto. So this information you're going to hold onto. When it comes to once a week, when you get into that stage of care, then you will bring that in and we'll go over those exercises with you. And then your long fold out, your spine and nervous system. These are the areas we are working on in your spine. You're going to have areas that are circled in red. Those are the areas we're concentrating on. But I'm going to refer to this as we go through the class because we're going to talk about your subluxations and how it's affecting your body and your overall health. So, which way are you heading? Well, I'm hoping as you're here, you are heading towards the left side, the health side, versus the right side, the disease side. And you can't stay neutral. Our health isn't neutral. We think we're gliding along and then boom, something just happened. Things are happening that we don't realize are happening to our health. And it's about being proactive. Now, there are 4 simple truths I want to go over. Our body is self-healing. We don't have to think about healing. And so when you cut yourself, what happens? You don't have to think about the tissue being laid down to heal. And so our body is when given the right tools, can heal better. B.J. Palmer, who is the developer of chiropractic, said the power that made the body heals the body. So we know it comes from above down, inside out. That's where healing occurs. And obviously without life, the body can't heal. When you go to the butcher and you have a piece of steak and they cut that steak, it doesn't bleed because it's not alive and it can't heal. The second thing is our nervous system controls everything. So our brain, our spinal cord control everything in our body, and including our health. So your body is smarter than I am. Any doctor, your body, you know your body better than we do. And so it has that communication going on. Now, interference of the nervous system is going to affect the way our body heals. And I'll go into what that interference is. And then we as chiropractors are the only doctors that know how to remove that interference. The medical community will tell you, you need this pill to be healthy, right? You don't. we've got to just give your body the right tools to heal from within. So unfortunately, the medical community has sabotaged or attacked you for what? Profit.
Big
right?
pharma.
Yes, you got it. So let me talk about the nervous system. I have my spine. So I'm going to use my spine because I don't have my model spine. Is it right behind me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is right behind me.
It is.
Right there. All right, nervous system, central nervous system. We're going back to anatomy days, high school, woohoo! We have our brain, we have our spinal cord, we have all the nerves that come out from our spinal cord, and they're going to the organs that are in your chart. So our sense organs are part of our central nervous system. Our spinal cord is that conduit, is that message communicator between our brain and our body. The peripheral nervous system, I'm trying to get my spine back. The peripheral nervous system are the nerves that come out to the side. So all down the arms, down the legs, around the ribs. It is a feedback loop with the peripheral nervous system. So the brain sends the signal, it goes out the nerves, and then it comes back, and comes back into the brain. So you've had the doctor hit you in the knee, and that's that knee-jerk reaction that happens, that reflex. That's all peripheral nervous system and central. But sensory nerves are the nerves that tell us we're in pain. They make up 10% of the nerves in our body. That's it, 10%. The other 90% of the nerves in our body are our organs. It's how our body is functioning to our organs. And that's what's circled on your chart. So when you look at the misalignments of your spine, I have a perfect spine. I have no circles because I have a chiropractor as a husband. Or a husband as a chiropractor. I said it the wrong way, but that's okay. So I'm going to look at C2. C2 is going to the head, the eyes, the tongue. Now it's left and right side. So it's left ear and right ear. It's going to the heart, C2. Interesting. I'm going to go down to T2. T2 is head, neck, heart, lungs, upper arms. So there's a lot of crossover between vertebra and where those nerves go. But these nerves make up 90%, where the pain nerves only make up 10% of the nerves in our body. Now, I don't have my rubber band here, but I sometimes put a rubber band on my finger. And that is representing the subluxation. So subluxation, the big fancy word that we as chiropractors are looking for. So the subluxation means that bone is out of alignment. And what is it doing? It's putting pressure on that nerve. When the pressure happens, it stops the communication. It disrupts where the brain and the communication is happening. And then the body can't adapt anymore. Have you ever taken a water hose and stepped on a water hose, or it's got kinked underneath something? What happens to the end of that water hose? What's happening? Is the water gushing out, or is it trickling? Right, exactly. So I want you to visualize that and see that in your mind when the subluxation is present. But again, only 10% of the nerves cause pain. So having a subluxation doesn't mean there's going to always be pain there. So then dis-ease begins. The communication is not happening. What causes those subluxations? What do you think of when a subluxation can happen? Accidents. That's what most people, traumas to the body. It's 3 T's, traumas. A fall, a car accident, you slipped, you banged your head on something. So it's the physical. But the toxins we're exposed to cause subluxations. Think about if you eat McDonald's every day, you think that's going to be toxic to your body.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it will be, because that's not real food. And our body sees it as foreign. our thoughts. What we're thinking here affects how our body heals. I'll have patients that tell me, I'll never get well. And I'm like, yep, you're correct. Because I can't change the chemistry your body's creating every time you say I can't get well. And they've done studies, multiple studies, with rice, with water. You know, you say positive things to something and the crystals it makes in the water. And then you say negative things and the ugly crystals that are created in that water. This was years ago they did this study.
Is it serotonin? Is it serotonin that you produce?
It's oxytocin. Endorphins, yeah. So it's the happy drugs in our body, yes. So how do you know you have a subluxation? The answer's right there.
It feels like somebody hit me with a hammer in my butt.
But by the time that happens, the problem's been there for quite a while. So you don't necessarily know you have a subluxation. And I'm going to talk about my granddaughter. So I have an 18-month-old granddaughter, of course, because I have 2 boys and a girl. No, I have 2 sons, and that's my pride and joy. But when I watched her being born, I watched the midwife turn my granddaughter's head and pull her out. And I was like, oh my gosh, think about all those vertebrae and all those nerves. And I have pictures of her. Her head is like this. And she was having difficulty latching on to nurse. And I couldn't touch her because, you know, all the hustle and bustle that's happening inside that delivery room. And so I said, okay, I'll wait. So it was like 12 hours later that I got to go back because she was born at 2 o'clock in the morning. I went back and I got to get my hands on her to adjust her. So she's 12 hours old. And people are like, oh, you are just infants? Oh, yes. So with an infant, what's really neat, I don't have to even use the activator. I can just use my finger to shift that bone. I could already see how her head was already tilted and shift that bone into place. Now, she didn't have any symptoms. She was having difficulty latching. Well, that would have been a problem because then maybe she would have been put onto formula. So that's more chemicals in the body. But she is 18 months old and she knows when it's time to be adjusted. She sees me, I pull out my activator, she lays on the floor. I actually have good pictures of this recently. She lays on the floor, she puts her arms behind her and she lays there. And she loves it. She knows when it's time. It's beautiful. But she doesn't tell me, Mia, I need an adjustment. Because she doesn't say Mia, she says Poppy, 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 Poppy. Mia. Very large baby, right? Safety pin cycle. It's a thing we talk about in chiropractic. So we have our brain here, we have our body here. Brain sends the signal to the body, feedback loop comes back into the brain. Subluxation or the dysfunction happens. So when that dysfunction happens, it starts creating abnormal cells. Well, when too many abnormal cells clump together, what is that? Cancer. Cancer when too many abnormal cells. So again, communication's not happening. Then the disease begins. I said it, cancer, heart disease, digestive issues. The damage is occurring. It's just continuing, and then the symptoms appear. So normally, like I said, I have a rubber band on my finger. I don't know why I don't have rubber bands, but what do we have to do to get rid of the subluxation?
To reconnect.
We gotta adjust. Yes. We get to adjust, and that's what we love to do. We love analyzing, locating where those misalignments are and putting them back into place so it reestablishes it. We're giving you the right tools to adapt, to heal. And we're talking about internal healing, not just pain, but internal healing. And that's why we see sinus issues getting better. That's why we see young ladies that couldn't get pregnant. We see people, I'm not going to say heal from cancer, but their bodies recover better. I have a number of cancer patients under care. And I saw one of them today, and her numbers are looking terrific. So she did both chiropractic and the treatments, but her body is strong. Drugs, what do drugs do? They alter our chemistry, right? They alter the processes the normal processes that are happening. They don't enhance them, they alter them through chemistry. And then that chemistry can wreak havoc on other things. How many times do you see a drug and then it's all the side effects that happen? You're going to experience really quickly because that's what's happening. Our goal is to get to the root cause. Our goal is to get to why is this happening? I feel like I'm an investigator. And I love it. So it's like CSI happening here, trying to find out where that bone is, how to correct it, how to help that body to heal from within. And then the question to you is, how long do you want to keep it there?
As long as possible.
As long as possible. I say it's from birth to grave. I'd rather be in adjustment when I die versus out of adjustment when I die. Now, I'm lucky because Dr. Chris and I adjust each other typically weekly, so I'm typically in adjustment most times. Now, we are the only profession, only philosophy that tells you your body can heal. What other profession tells you you have the ability to heal? They don't. Mm-hmm. And so we're the only ones to locate, analyze. And people will say, well, what about physical therapy? They're working on your muscles. They're working on muscles. They're strengthening your muscles. Now, we want your bones to be in place, then strengthen the muscles, not strengthen the muscles with the bone out of place. So we work together. They don't necessarily always see that, but we do work together. So our mission here in this office, our mission, and we say this every morning, every day, is to have God work through us by providing quality health care so we can be a blessing unto others while changing their lives, and then give ourselves to the service of others as we change the health care of our world. I go on mission trips. I went in April, and went on a week-long mission trip to Guatemala. And we brought chiropractic. There were 11 chiropractors, and we brought chiropractic to Guatemala, to villages of Guatemala. And so we are changing the healthcare of our world, but it starts here. So our passion, obviously, is to provide you the best care possible, to allow your bodies to heal, to allow you to reach your best potential, to do the things you want to do. What's the buzzword, especially in our area? Quality of life, right?
Oh, yeah.
Quality of life. You have friends and family that don't have the quality of life that you do. And you're like, I'm so grateful that you're active, or that you can do the things. My oldest patient is 96. He still drives here. He used to play golf, but he doesn't anymore. He's gotten to the point he can't play. But he's still active. He still tells me, yep, I raked the lawn today. I'm like, 96 years old, still raking the lawn. We give back to our neighborhood. We give back to our community. We're doing our Fill the Bus, or a Fill for school children right now. We partner with Diaconia, so donating clothes and food to Diaconia. We're always giving back to our community. But it's your success that helps us be able to do that. So let me talk about chiropractic success stories. I have these two x-rays here. You see the x-rays that are on the left. And that's her lumbar spine, the side view of her lumbar spine. Here are each of the vertebrae. These are the discs. This is sacrum and tailbone. And I told her when she came in, she had lower back, sciatic, down her legs, into her feet. Her feet were numb. I told her it looks like she has crooked teeth. Notice how this vertebra doesn't line up with this one doesn't line up with this one, and that one didn't line up. None of her vertebrae lined up. So she had subluxations at every spot there. Started adjusting her, and she started noticing changes, and Her knee started acting up, so we started working on that. And so the x-rays on the right side were the most recent one I did, which was not very long ago, within the last 3 months. She has improved so much. The degeneration of her spine has reversed
Wow.
because we got rid of the cause of the degeneration. And this is her success story. A year ago, I was in so much pain. I felt like sitting in a chair waiting. Now I can't express how the difference in my life. I can walk again and enjoy life. It is nice to have a new lease on my life. Yes, at times my knees give me problems when I misuse them, but I have learned to listen to my body. I went from not wanting to leave my house to being in 2 singing groups and 2 social groups. I have been so grateful for meeting Dr. Tracy at AARP and having that little voice say, she can help me. She was my last hope before surgery. Guess what? No surgery. My life has been blessed. I will maintain this body. And so she recently had, she's one of the choirs, and they recently had this event in Ocean Pines, and she was in charge of the event, decorating it, everything, and I'm like, okay, girl, but she did it. She was able to do it. So we ask you to join our mission. Up here it says, you are now entering the mission field. Your stories, when you start noticing those changes other people. You start planting seeds. But who needs to be checked? Everybody needs to be checked. From my 12-hour-old granddaughter to the 100-year-old that wants to stay in their home, that doesn't want to go into a nursing home. It just started a gentleman the other day, 84 years old, and he's like, he can't even get up from a chair. I had to help him up to get up from the chair. And this came on very suddenly. And of course, it's been happening for years. But years before, he had the same issue, and the medical doctors told him, oh, it's not in your lower spine, it's in your neck. And they fused his neck.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. I was like, holy mackerel. Yep, his neck is completely fused. Cannot touch there. So now I've got to concentrate on the lower, and I'm like, it wasn't in your neck, it was down here. Love that. But his goal was not, he wants to stay in his own home. He doesn't want to have to go into a nursing home. That is his objective. And so the people that you're thinking of, give them a glimmer of hope that they can be helped. This gentleman came in because someone told him about us. But it's your stories and what you're experiencing that help others to be able to get in here. And that's why we love our success stories. You'll notice on the walls, you'll see on the walls the success stories. But we start listening and we talk about you. So if your ears are ringing, we're talking about you. We talk about you at our staff meetings in the morning, and we talk about the changes that are happening in your life. And it makes us have joy because of that. And so I want to thank you for being here. Any questions that you have, you can ask me. And hopefully you are informed about how to keep your health and how to get your health. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.